Hello, everyone. Hi, how are you? This is another fantastic MyES webinar. It's nice to have you here with me. I am Monique. Nice to meet you, or nice to see you again if I haven't seen you before. So I am from Los Angeles, California. I've lived in Bologna for 2 years. I teach at the Bologna MyES 1000. Indeed, I do. Yes. Okay. So, welcome. I'm looking forward to spending this time with you today. This is a MyES 6 to 7 webinar. So, whenever you join in, please, at any time, I'd love for you to share comments, to ask questions. I like this to be as interactive as possible because we are in this together. So there used to be in the ancient Mayan culture and still used now, a movement where you put your hand in someone else's hand and you form a caracol, which is a connecting central circle. And that means I am another you. So that being said, I would like to know, how are you? As the first question, how are you? A simple question, but nevertheless an important question and a good question to not forget to ask ourselves through this period. So how are you? Do you use Google Calendar? As you can see, I have a Google Calendar up right there on the screen. Personally, I use both the Google Calendar and this beautiful date book. You can see it says Il Piccolo Principe. Yes, The Little Prince. My favorite book, The Little Prince. And this is also my date book. So I will show you. As you can see here, it has the days of the week, the month. So I'll put that in the comments here. This is a date book. So in the US, we call it a date book, right? I prefer to physically write in my appointments. I write in what I have to do for work, maybe if I have additional lessons, maybe, I don't know, if I have a phone call with my mom, if I'm going to buy flowers, I write it in my date book. So this is a date book. Yes, and again, it's my Little Prince date book. And I usually carry it with me. It helps me keep track of my appointments. Yeah, you can see there's little birds. I love The Little Prince. Such a beautiful book. So, yes, I want you to tell me, how are you? Do you use Google Calendar? Like I said here, it's Google Calendar. So, for example, right here, you can see it says 1 p.m. MyES webinar. And that is exactly where we are right now, right at this time, 1 p.m. doing a lovely MyES webinar. My other question is an important question as well, which is, what are you having for lunch today? So notice present continuous. What are you having for lunch? While I am here waiting for you to tell me who you are, so tell me your name, how you are, if you use Google Calendar, and what you're having for lunch, I'll tell you what I'm having for lunch. Yes, indeed. So I really like fresh herbs, right? Fresh herbs. Recently this morning, we had a webinar with a colleague named Sophia, who is from the UK. So notice that the pronunciation of herbs is different in the UK and in the US. So I'll write it for you here. US pronunciation, silent H. Whereas the UK pronunciation is a pronounced H. Pronounced H. So if you're watching this now or watching it later, try at home to say fresh herbs. For example, here I have some parsley. Wonderful herb, parsley, you might know it. Very, very healthy too. Fresh herbs are flavorful and healthy. So in the US, we say fresh herbs. And in the UK, fresh herbs, right? Like, how are you? Wonderful. Hi, Angela. Nice to see you. How are you? Today I'm having a meatloaf and some chards. Excellent, excellent vocabulary word. Yeah. Chard is really delicious. I think chard is uncountable, actually, not so much chards, because it's different pieces of chard, but you're having chard. Very nice. Sounds delicious. Yeah, very cool. So, Angela, tell us also, how are you? And do you use Google Calendar? And I will tell you what I'm having for lunch. At the moment, I'm cooking soup. I love soup. It's one of my favorite foods. So basically, I put onion, leeks, fresh parsley chopped up in little pieces. I've put fennel. What else is in there? Asparagus, right? Asparagus are in season now. I'll write it down for everyone. Asparagus are in season now. If you go to the supermarket, you'll notice asparagus now is present. It's a little expensive, but so healthy, so delicious. So in my soup, I put asparagus. What else? Celery. I had remaining celery, so I put that. I put 2 potatoes, 1 carrot, and that's it for now. The way I like to cook soup is to leave it cooking for a long time, a very long time. So the flavor, it becomes more flavorful. So I think after this webinar, I might add some whole grain rice. So whole grain rice, which is less processed rice, more natural. So it's not called integral rice, as someone might think coming from Italian. It's called whole grain rice. So I think I'll put some whole grain rice in the soup and then maybe some garlic, because I love garlic. So that's what I'm having for lunch. So what are you having for lunch? Remember, I'd love for you to write, participate, write in. It's great to be interactive, and it's a good opportunity to use your English, right? As dessert, I'm having an almond pie. I will comment on that one, Angela, and tell you, wow, excuse me. Sorry. That's fantastic, Angela. That sounds so delicious. Do you make almond pie? I love almonds. I use almonds to cook, but I usually use almonds to cook vegetables. I really like putting nuts in with my vegetables in the frying pan. Hello, Nicoletta. Hi. I don't have a nice day. I'm a little sad. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, it happens right now, right? I understand completely. It's a little bit strange to be so much time at home, right? It's been a long time. And I understand completely. You say, I'm preparing my lunch with rice, some vegetables, radicchio, which in English we say radicchio. It sounds funny, and mozzarella. Interesting. So you'll have the mozzarella on top of your rice and vegetables or on the side? I'll ask you here, will you have the mozzarella cheese on top or on the side? This is my question to Nicoletta. Will you have the mozzarella cheese on top or on the side? Oh, thank you, Nicoletta. You reminded me, I might put Parmesan cheese on the soup at the very, very end when it's finished. Because fresh cheese on something hot is so delicious on top. Awesome. That sounds fabulous. Great. So we see here Google Calendar, right? Do you all see this Google Calendar? I could say maybe I'll put it 2 p.m. eat soup, for example, right? So this is Google Calendar. Do you use Google Calendar? Do you like Google Calendar? Hello, Julia. Hi, nice to see you. Today for lunch, I'm having tortellini. Wow, fantastic. What are you having your tortellini with? I made soup the other day. No, yesterday, I made tagliatelle with asparagus and pine nuts. People, it was delicious, really delicious. Yes, I do. Okay. You use Google Calendar. Nice. Oh, you like pumpkin soup. Yeah. Pumpkin is my favorite vegetable. Yeah. Cool. So Nicoletta, you use Google Calendar. I was saying earlier, I use Google Calendar, but I also use this. You can see it's my favorite book, The Little Prince, but I use this also. So this is called a date book, right? A date book. Do you use a date book? I use both because otherwise I forget. I forget when the webinar is. I forget when I need to teach. I forget. I go, what day is it? I get confused. So I like to use both of them. So do you use Google Calendar? Do you use a date book? Do you use both? Do you use neither? Some people don't need a calendar. I don't know how this is possible. I also, in addition, I have lists. So, for example, this is my list for today. Can you see it? Friday, April 17th. So it says 9:30, prep Skype with Sophia. Then it says, what does it say? I think it says 11 a.m. Sophia webinar. So I had the webinar earlier. Then, of course, I wrote 1 p.m. webinar. Okay, as you're thinking, I shall reveal our lovely focus for the day. Let's just make sure it's on the right page, and we shall dive in. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Voila! Our focus for the day is planning your week. Okay, so planning your week. To plan. Do you plan? Do you plan in advance? Or do you not use a Google Calendar, not use an agenda or a date book like this? Do you wake up in the morning and go, yeah, good morning. What will I do today? I don't know. Yeah, I don't at all. Oh, nice, Angela. You use a wall calendar. I kind of use a wall calendar. I like wall calendars. I have a wall calendar over there, but it's sort of funny. The only thing I use the wall calendar for is to write down between my roommate and I who needs to clean the apartment, right? Whose turn it is. Because we go every 2 weeks, either I clean or he cleans. So that's really important because I don't want to clean every Sunday. This Sunday I have to clean. Okay, lovely. So you use a wall calendar. Nice. So you don't use Google Calendar, for example. Nowadays we have a lot of calendars, right? A lot of different things. Also, have you noticed there's all these different like Zoom meetings and broadcast live? Have you seen like on Facebook, there's lives? On Instagram, there's live stories. Have you been watching any of them? Last night I watched a concert on Instagram. It was interesting, it's different, right? Nicoletta, in my day book. So careful, it's called a date book. Date book. Why? Because it's the book you write your important dates in. Right, a date book, yeah. So in my date book, I write some thoughts, but I write all my meetings in Google Calendar, right? Google Calendar, sure. Okay, interesting. Right, so you use your date book, like something like this, you mean, Nicoletta? Do you have, so for example, you'll write maybe, today is the 17th. So let's see here. So maybe you'll go to the 17th, where is it? And you'll write, today I had a webinar, then I ate lunch, then I thought about chocolate. I don't know. That's cool. Very nice. I don't really write my thoughts down. I usually only write down appointments or dates, right? So the way we say this in the US, right? So I'm from California, and the way we refer to this is a date book, right? Where you write your important dates. Maybe you write down birthdays to remember. Maybe you write down, call your mom. That's what I sometimes write down. I don't know, anything you have to remember, right? It's all about memory, right? I wonder, do you have a good memory? I have a very, very bad memory. My friends can tell you I have a terrible memory. My friend Martina always laughs at me because I forget. Anyways, okay, so let's see what our objectives are for this focus today. And remember, at any time, you can not only answer what I'm saying, but you can also ask questions. So if you have questions for me, questions about the focus, questions about English grammar, feel free to write without hesitation, right? It's a safe, free space, so all good. So let's see here. All right, we'll remove the banner and take a look at planning your week. Okay, so in this focus activity, making appointments. Again, we can say appointments or dates. Yes, date. The verb to date is usually romantic, right? You go out on a date, maybe with someone new. You go, ooh, going out on a date is exciting. However, we also use the word date like it's a date, like you're meeting your friend. So it's not only romantic, but making appointments, discussing availability. So I want you all to try to say this at home. Availability. So look how many syllables, okay? So it's a-ve-la-bil-li-ti. Everyone, that is 6 syllables, okay? So it's 6 syllables. So try to say it at home. So I'll try to break it down. Availability. Very important word for work and for business as well. Li-ti. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want you at home to try this, right? 6 syllables. So it's da 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 da, right? 6. Da 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 da. So we have availability. 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 Quickly and a bit more relaxed, we would say availability, right? Okay. And then using the present continuous to talk about appointments or dates or meetings, right? Awesome. All right. Moving forward. So the first question, are you organized? So tell me, are you organized? Are you organized? I can easily tell you that I have a Libra rising, right? So I seem organized. I appear organized, but actually the answer is, oh no, I'm not organized. And especially now, it's difficult to be organized because being at home, I find it more difficult. It's challenging, right? I don't know about you, but let me know. For example, I have a lot of lists. So this is my list for today. Then I have my list, for example, in my book. I wrote down Friday, free day. Friday, free day. Okay. That's another list. Here I have, for example, Wednesday showing. Go speak with Jenna on Skype, do the webinars, right? So I'm not very organized. So tell me, are you organized? Are you organized? Do you want to be organized? Do you want to be more organized, less organized? And we'll take a moment as you're thinking and writing to have some lovely Tibetan bell, which is relaxing and beautiful. lovely, no? It's really beautiful, this Tibetan belt. I don't use it often. I have been using it for the webinars, but it's really beautiful, no? Quite like it. Okay, Angela. So Angela's just like me. So we're similar then. I'm not organized by nature. Exactly. Okay. Actually, it's by. I'm not organized by nature. Yeah, but I love nature. Do you like nature? Yeah. Okay, excellent. And let's see the second question here. How far in advance do you plan? For example, for holidays, for parties, for English lessons, for meeting friends. How far in advance? So, for example, so in advance means how far before do you plan, right? For holidays, for example. Okay, Nicoletta. I'm an events planner. Okay, so I must always be organized with a little smiley face emoticon. But I'm also organized in my private life. How, Nicoletta? Can you help Angela and myself? Help us to be more organized. I find it very difficult. I think for work, I'm better. For work, I know, right? I mean, if I'm going to get a paycheck, I need to be at the webinar at the right time. I need to be at class at the right time. So, but in my private life, I find it more difficult. So, Nicoletta, if you have any advice, let us know. That's great, though. That's really cool. So, what about the second question? How far in advance do you plan? So, for me, it depends, I would say. For me, it depends. So it depends. Or I could say it depends on da. So I would say how far in advance? It depends, depends how many people are involved. For example, for a Zoom call, maybe if there's a lot of people to organize, then maybe I would plan in advance. So how far in advance do you plan? You might say, I plan parties last minute. Because otherwise I get nervous. I get anxiety, right? So let me write this vocabulary word, anxiety. The feeling of being anxious, nervous, apprehensive. I don't know if you know that feeling, but anxiety, right? So I like sort of spontaneous last minute, and that's why I really like Italy, right? I'm from Los Angeles and things are planned in advance, far in advance. And I like how Italy, or at least my experience in Italy, is very spontaneous. So maybe my friend calls and says, hey, let's go out. I like that. I think that's a bit more organic, right? A bit more fun. Angela, I planned my trip abroad for holidays some months before. So planned would be the past simple. You want to use the present tense whenever we talk about things we do regularly, right? You would say, I plan my trips abroad for holidays some months before. Yeah, me too. Especially abroad, right? If we're planning to go to another continent, right? Or another country, we definitely want to plan abroad. Also because otherwise the ticket is very expensive, right? So I plan my trips abroad. So say present tense, I plan my trips abroad. Yeah, I usually do too. Again, it depends where. If I'm going to visit my mom in Los Angeles, yes, I plan in advance also so that she knows that I'm coming. I don't want to just say, knock, knock, it's me from Italy. No, it's far away. So I would like to plan a trip next year to South America. Personally, I don't know. It's unpredictable. We don't know yet when we can travel again, right? It's impossible to know. But next year, 2021, I would really like to go to South America. Nicoletta says, it depends. Yeah, I book my English lessons 2 weeks in advance. Or for example, I book my holidays 1 month before if I make a journey, or 1 week if I take a trip. Exactly, exactly. That's great. Good usage of trip, which is usually shorter, a weekend trip, or journey, which is like an expedition, a journey somewhere like you go to Costa Rica or to Indonesia, or you go on an exploration, right? Or to Argentina. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, lovely. So let's move forward. And now we see a day in town. Alrighty, so I'll read it. If you want, read it at home too. It's always practice speaking. So it says, plan a day in the city with your partners. So we can plan a day together. So before we go through this, let's choose a city, any city. I will name some cities. You choose, though, any city. Give some suggestions. We could do Rome, Florence, let's see here, Budrio, Montepulciano, Catania, Catanzaro, Cosenza. Let me know your ideas. We can choose together a city. How about maybe perhaps Genova, right? Genoa in English. Padua, maybe Leghorn. As you're thinking, I want to tell you something quite interesting, an interesting trivia, which is this. Livorno in English is Leghorn. Isn't that funny? It's so peculiar. So bizarre. I think it's because of the Latin origin, the Latin root. But so tell me, what city shall we go to? I want to choose one city. I guess let's give it maybe 20 seconds more, and then I'll choose the city. But I gave you some options. You tell me what city you would like to visit. In the meantime, I will give you some background music or background relaxing sounds. I once did a meditation retreat where after the 1 hour of meditation, you would hear the bell, and that would be time to stop meditating, right? What about a town with a beach? Yes, good idea. So what town with a beach shall we go to? Okay, Genoa. Does Genoa have a beach? I think so, right? For example, Amalfi, Rimini. Okay, yeah, Genoa, Amalfi, Rimini. They're all beautiful places. I wonder what's the closest from where we all are. All right, so we have Genoa, Amalfi, Rimini. Ooh, it's a difficult choice. We could also go to Los Angeles, but I don't know. Genoa is sounding nice. That could be an idea. Nicolette, are you good with Genoa? Is that okay for you, Genoa? Because Genoa has... my friend lives in Genoa. There's that whole area you can go down, and it's not so much a beach town, but Nicoletta says Genoa. It's okay. Okay, fantastic. I'm excited. Let me call my friend Emanuele. Emanuele, we're coming to visit you. I have a good friend in Genoa. Genoa, very sweet. Okay, perfect. So we have our city. So I'm excited. We're going to Genoa. Hooray. Now, we want to plan a day in Genoa together. So morning activity, lunch, I know which lunch, okay, afternoon activity, dinner, evening activities. So when will we go and where will we meet? So I want you to say in the comments, when will we go? Where will we meet? So when will we go? That's a difficult question. When will we go? I'd say let's make it a little bit, maybe, I don't know. Well, you tell me, when will we go? When would you think would be a good idea? When will we go? And where will we meet? That's a lot of W sounds. Where will we wait? We will, yeah. So when will you go? My friend Emanuele he lives like not in the center of Genoa, but in the outskirts. And he actually I think he has 13 chickens. We did a new moon ceremony there many months ago. He's a really cool guy, really nice guy. Yeah, we spent some time. He came and picked me up on his motorcycle too, which was so cool. I love scooters and motorcycles. We could go in June. Okay, that sounds great. Okay, so June to Genoa. Genoa. Where will we meet? We could meet. I don't know where you all live, so I guess where do you think? Where will we meet? I know that in Genoa there's one restaurant that's really nice for amazing pesto. And I think in Genoa they also make the pesto with not only basil, but also pine nuts, potatoes, and string beans, if I'm not mistaken. I love Genoa. I think of it as a pirate city because I'm a musician and there's a really cool music scene, very underground. I remember one time we went to like an underground club. It was like 2 a.m. and there was a piano and I had my instruments, and it's just really fun city. Maybe we could go there again. I have to ask someone else. We will meet at Brignole station. Okay, I don't know this station, but that sounds fantastic. Oh, wow. Okay. I live in Chioggia near Venice. I'll meet you at the station. Okay, cool. And I live in Bologna. So, okay, that sounds fantastic. All right. I'm happy with that. Good. What about activities? So, perfect. We know where we'll meet and we know when. So let me write this down because I have a bad memory. So June at Brignole station. What about activities? Can you suggest some activities? Let's see here. I think that we get suggestion words here. So let's use these now to make suggestions about activities. So I'll read through these. Shall we? Why don't we? Let's. How about? What about? We want to suggest what to do, right? And remember, when it says infinitive, it means bare infinitive without to. So the bare infinitive. Let's see. So shall we, bare infinitive. Why don't we, bare infinitive? Let's, bare infinitive, right? And let's is a direct way of speaking, right? So it's very clear. Let us do. Let's bra 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 bra. So it's not infinitive but imperative. So let's is the imperative, right? The imperative is one of the few times where we don't have a subject in a sentence in English, right? There's no subject. It's not let's. It's let's go to the park. Let's do this. Let's do that. Probably the most common as well, especially if we're amongst friends and we're sitting around. Sometimes it happens with friends. You meet up. Maybe you go to dinner and then afterwards, everyone's like, what should we do? And then people are like, let's go to the park. Let's go to the park. Let's do this. Let's do that. My brother is funny. My brother lives in New York City. He lives in Brooklyn. He's 5 years younger than me. He's really cool, he's cool. And he gets frustrated when a group of people can't decide what to do. He's like, come on, everybody, let's do something, right? Whereas for me, I think it's funny. I mean, I've lived in Italy a very long time, so I think it's cool to stand outside and just hang out, right? Phrasal verb, very useful. I like to hang out. But in the United States, it's a little less common to just stand on the street and talk, which sounds funny, but it's less common. So when my brother visited me 2 years ago, we were standing outside talking and he's like, what are we doing? Why are we just standing here? which was funny because for us it was natural. We just want to relax and hang out. Anyway, so can you make some suggestions? We know we're going in June, and we know we're meeting at the Brignole station of Genoa. And then, right, like, okay, great. We'll meet there and then something, right? So we'll meet at the Brignole station. Again, remember the difference between the ones on the top three that use the infinitive and the bottom two that use the ing. I'll give you examples of the bottom two. So that would be like, how about writing something that you think we should do as an activity? How about writing? How about sharing? How about having soup for lunch, or having tagliatelle for lunch? Aha, I prefer to wake up early. So we could walk around at 9 a.m. We could take a great breakfast in a square. Okay, we would say we could have a great breakfast in a square. Awesome, that's great, Nicoletta. I like waking up early as well. Try now to use these different forms, right? Try to use the forms that we can see on the upper right. So try to practice using shall we with the infinitive, or how about, so for example, you could say, how about having breakfast in a square, in a nice place, for example, how about having breakfast in a nice place? Or I'll give you another example. What about, here's another example. All food related, of course. What about eating pesto at MyES restaurant? I think that's the name of the restaurant in Genoa. My friend took me there once. I played there as a musician, and in the afternoon, so way before the show, they brought us there. Really nice. Aha, for breakfast, we could have coffee. Oh my gosh. Angela, yes, the focaccia in Genoa. Don't they also make, I think they also make like farinata or cecina or something like that in can't remember. But yeah, focaccia there is amazing, amazing. So yes, good. Nicoletta, let's wake up early. Exactly. So we want to make suggestions with this, right? So, and you'll see at MyES, you'll see that this will come up again in the revision, in the checkpoint, right? It's very common to practice these, right? So that's a really good one, Nicoletta. Let's wake up early. So wake up is the infinitive. So not let's to wake up early, let's wake up early. Fantastic. I love waking up early. I love it. You say whatever time you want, Nicoletta. I'm ready. Angela, focaccia is local flat bread. It's very good. Yeah. So good and fresh, right? So Angela, for example, this one right here, can you transform that into the form of one of these suggestions, right? One of these suggestions. Okay, farinata is good for lunch or dinner. Yeah, it's made with chickpeas, with garbanzo beans. I actually made farinata a couple times. It's not hard to make. It's hard to make well, but it's not hard to make. So for example, Angela, this one here, by saying this, you're making an affirmation, a statement. So yes, this is true, but you want to make it as a suggestion, kind of like a question, right? All of these are questions except for the third one. So with Nicoletta's, let's wake up early. However, it's still suggesting, recommending, right? So another example, why don't we visit the aquarium? Isn't there a very nice aquarium in Genoa? I would like to see the aquarium. I've never been to the aquarium. Try to make a couple more examples using these, right? Why don't we, shall we stay at my friend Emanuele's? In the meantime, as you're writing some more examples, let's look here at responses, right? Why don't we? Okay, good. Careful though, Nicoletta, because why don't we is followed by infinitive. So can you correct that sentence using the infinitive, right? So the infinitive is the base verb, right? The base verb without to. So for example, to walk, to eat, to drink, to play, to dance, right? So try correcting that, Nicoletta. Why don't we a walk, okay? In the meantime, let's see what these say. So I'd love to. For example, Nicoletta says, let's wake up early. And I go, oh, I'd love to. Or great idea. That sounds good. Sounds is sound like, for example, this is a beautiful sound, in my opinion. Deep breath, right? It's a relaxing sound. It's a beautiful sound. So we often say that sounds good, which means nice idea. That sounds good. Yeah, awesome. 2 thumbs up. Why don't we take a walk? And I might say, great idea. I would love to take a walk. And actually, this is true. I would love to take a walk. I don't take walks enough. I would love to take a walk. I really like your suggestion, Nicoletta. Yeah. No problem. Don't worry about it. This is a good place for interaction. It's perfect place to write and to make mistakes. And that's what studying a language is good for, is expressing, exploring, trying, and then learning by trying, right? Ooh, shall we have a walk along the alleys of the ancient center? So, good suggestion. Nicoletta, what do you think about Angela's suggestion? She says, shall we have a walk along the alleys of the ancient center? So responses could be any of these. I'd love to. Great idea. That sounds good. Which would be positive or negative. I would rather not. Or I have already been there, meaning been there, done that. I went last year. No, thank you. Or I'd prefer. If we say I'd prefer, then we'll suggest something else. So I think that's a great suggestion, though. Personally, I'd love to. Yeah. Hey, awesome. Very cool. Okay, lovely. So we have a plan, everyone. We have a plan. I'm excited about our trip in June. Thank you. Let's see if we can move forward a minute and use the word available. So we saw the pronunciation of available before, availability. Available is similar to free. Me too, Nicoletta. Yeah, I love walking. Me too. So to be available, right? To be available is similar to be free. However, there is a difference, which is this. If you ask me, are you available tomorrow? I look and I say, yes, I am available. What that means is I want to be available. I make myself available. But if someone says, are you free? It's different. Free means I have nothing to do. Available means I make time for you. So available is more common in business. It's more common it's just more common. It's better to use available than to use free, right? I'm free is okay. Available is a bit more eloquent, right? So it says, are you available on Monday? Yes, I'm available on Monday. No, I'm not available Monday. Let's meet on Friday instead. Yes, okay. So the other question here, what are you doing on Thursday? I'm not doing anything. I'm free on Thursday. Or I already have plans Thursday, but I'm free on Friday. So, for example, what are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow? For example, tell me, what are you doing tomorrow? So tomorrow is Saturday. What are you doing tomorrow, Saturday? And are you available at 1 p.m.? This is actually true. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., I'm meeting my friends and we are having a Zoom call together just for fun. But so tell me, what are you doing tomorrow? So in your answer, you're going to want to keep the present continuous, right? So we could say, what are you doing? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So what are you doing tomorrow? And are you available tomorrow at 1 p.m.? So let's see. Tomorrow I will tell you. Tomorrow I am going to make a torta salata because I love to make torta salata. I am going to do yoga in the morning. I am going to meet my friends on Zoom, of course, unfortunately, on Zoom. And I am going to something very exciting. I have a chess tournament tomorrow. I don't know if you like the game of chess, but it's a game with with 16 pieces for each side. And the goal is to kill the king. And yeah, I have a group of friends, and tomorrow evening, we're having a chess tournament. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. So tell me, what are you doing tomorrow? And are you available at 1 p.m.? So if I look in my date book, remember the vocabulary date book, I don't have it written, but I should write it. Actually, I think I'll write it right now. This is a good moment to write it. So I will write down 1 p.m. Zoom call with Martina and friends. So I'll show you here what I wrote. I'm not sure you can see it, but yeah, so see, I just wrote it right now. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., Zoom call with Martina and friends, right? Can you see that? So if you asked me, are you available tomorrow at 1 p.m.? I would say, no, I'm so sorry. I'm not available tomorrow at 1 p.m. because I have a call. And Angela says, I'm available at 1 p.m. to have a webinar. Fantastic. Okay, that's fantastic. Good. Yeah, so I'm available at 1 p.m. I usually do. So when we talk about the gym is a place, right? So the gym is a place. So we don't do gym. You would do fitness. I usually do fitness, or so you could say, for example, I do fitness, I do Pilates, I do total body, any of these, right? It's interesting though, Nicoletta, it's an interesting point because yes, we say to do yoga. However, we don't say to do gym. It's funny, right? The English is a funny language. So the gym is a place. So I go to the gym, but you would say I do whatever you do. I like total body. When the quarantine started, I was doing it every day, and now I'm sorry. I'm not. I want to do it every day, but I don't know. I'll try tomorrow, or I don't know. Anyways, so at Ose, okay, I usually do gym or yoga at 1 p.m. Today it's an exception because I found this lesson. Well, thank you, Nicoletta. I'm honored. That is very sweet of you. I hope you get to do yoga or do fitness later today. I think today I won't be able to do yoga, but tomorrow morning, my plan is to do yoga. I really like vinyasa yoga also. So I just want to remind you both that there's a MyES SOS Facebook page. Remember, you can go there at any time. The webinars are only during the day, right? But in the evening, at tomorrow, or on Sunday maybe, if you want to still practice your English, you can go on to this Facebook page right there. Wait, let's see, like that. MyES SOS Facebook page for any questions, right? Any more questions about grammar. If anything in this focus wasn't clear, you can go and ask. So remember, that's an additional resource as well as the resources you have in your MyES student area. So I want to thank you both. We are up for time. Remember that this is called a date book, okay? Date book. Remember that this is parsley, which is an herb or herb as pronounced in British English. I want to thank you. I'm excited about our trip. I'm really excited about our trip to Genoa in June. Really looking forward to it. Okay, Angela, 10 a.m. I usually do Feldenkrais. Interesting. You know, I've never done Feldenkrais. Cool. That's awesome. All right. I thank you. We are finished for time. It has been delightful. Thank you, Nicoletta. Thank you, Angela. I hope you have a fantastic lunch. Nicoletta, I hope you feel better. Maybe lunch will make you a little bit more happy. It usually makes me more happy. So I thank you, and we'll see each other soon. Bye. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye, bye, bye.